Howdy 5000. Today we're going to take a look at Factions BattleGrounds, a game by Jason Creighton and Peter Ferry. I believe, if I recollect correctly, I believe they're both teachers, and I believe one of them or both of them is an art teacher, and they did a lot of art direction in the game, and they actually incorporated their students into a lot of the playtesting. Game looks pretty awesome. Let's check her out. The name of the game is, to win in a 2-player basic game, you're going to want to get 25 points. 2-player masters game, 30 points. 3-player game, 30 points. 4-player game, 40 points. Right now, 4-player maximum game. So the gameplay consists of you command and recruit monsters and soldiers. On the 2-player setup, each player starts with 15 cards from one faction. So you'll pick out your faction. Today we're going to check out these Prowess faction, Aztec looking symbol. And then we've got also the Doom Sand faction. And then these faction cards, player reference cards, they'll tell you what these guys do. And then there's also a smaller version too. So the player that's playing the card, I believe, they will take the big oversized one, front and back, and then they'll give the opponent the smaller one so that the opponent can like know what to expect, unlike some of these crazy games like Warhammer. But yeah, so you put those to the side or whatever, and then we've got 15 cards. Now you're only going to keep 12 of these, so you'll put 3 back in the box each. So always some variability. You also have 5 terrain tiles for each faction. And as you can see, we're playing on a 6 square by 6 square board. So these tiles, they're going to cover 4 of the squares. There'll be 9 squares in 9 of these big tiles worth of squares in a regular 2-player game. When it's all said and done, we're gonna cover up 9 of these. Of course, the 3 and 4-player board is bigger. You're gonna build outside of this, but we're really focused on today the 2-player game. After you've taken those pieces, then you're gonna roll the included D6 dice for initiative. So I rolled 2. Probably the other player's most likely gonna have the initiative. So the winner of the initiative, they place their first terrain tile first. They can go into any one of these, we've got the outlines of, it's got to be in one of these outline places that are already with an outline border. So the first player initiative, they'll put their tile first, or if they don't want to place a tile first, they can also choose where to place the resource center cards. They're going to be placed somewhere within this middle line. Resource center cards. And these are these cards right here. The game comes with 4 of these, and then some of these chits as well for bigger player games. But the first, if you choose to put a resource center tile, a resource center card, then it's got to go somewhere in this center space first. So just know that. And then you can put either the mana, mana like magic. Mana gives you the magic power. And then gold, that's your basic resource economy. So you can put it in any one of these if you choose not to place a tile first. Once that first player has placed that first tile or resource card, then you will alternate turns placing tiles in one of the 9 spots that are available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So each player starts the game with 10 gold and 10 mana. Gold, mana. But you will track that right here on your tracker board. Resource and score trackers. Game comes with plenty of these cubes, black cubes, to track how much of everything you have. VP. And like I said, in the standard 2-player game, you're playing to 25 points. That's why it kind of goes there. Then, like, you know, you can do advanced games. And then mana, track your mana, track your floating mana, track your floating gold. And then, as we can see on this card, you get +1 gold per round. Then you choose your Vanguard, which is your units out of your total warband. After you've taken 3 out, then you have 12 to choose from. So since we already have 10 gold, we can say, for instance, this Doom Sand faction, they've got 10 gold to spend, so they could cast this 1 gold guy, this 3 gold guy, this 3 gold unit, 4 gold unit. You know, it goes up to 5, 6s, 7s, 9s. But you can cast as many of these guys as you want, as you can pay for, but you have to at least spend 5 gold when you're starting with your starting Vanguard, aka your starting cast of units. So let's go 1, 3, that puts us at 4. And then let's get a good ranger out there who generates a gold. You always want to get a guy who generates gold. So right now we're spending 4, 8 out of our 10 possible money. We can save that excess 2 gold. We'll just track it right there. We got 2 gold to go into the next round with at least. So, all right, so we'll place our guys into our base camp. The base camp right here. Base camp. Units enter here. Place recruited units here. Now you can stack them up in these 2 spaces right here. So base camp, no water on these spaces, so you know you can't summon your guys right into water, but you can know. So I'm placing 3 guys, spot 1 and spot 2. I can stack them up too. You can put unlimited guys in these two spots. They can never go back into the base camp, but, like, you know, they can get stuck in there though. Like, if you're surrounded, you can kind of get stuck in there. You'll have to fight your way out, I believe. But anyway, you can stack guys on top of guys until they move out of the base camp. And player 1, the one who rolled that initiative or whatever, they buy all of their units first. And then the opponent, once they've seen what the opponent has recruited with their gold, then the opponent gets to choose who they want to recruit. We've got some 3-cost guys. I'll do another video like flipping through the cards and showing what they do. But sweet art right there, lovely art. Can't do no complaining. Turtleoid Soldier, I love that naming. But anyway, yeah, so we're picking out some, so we'll get a 3-drop gold, and a 4-drop. We'll just spend all the gold with this Primus faction. So we'll put these other ones to the side. So we both, and then of course the opponent would summon over here. All right, they're coming in hot with 10 gold worth of guys. The gold cost, that's also how many victory points the opponent receives when this unit is defeated. So this guy would award my opponent 1 victory point because it's a 1 gold cost unit. Same goes for, like, this guy would award 3 victory points. Set up the resource center space. The first one has to go in the center square. So we'll just say, for instance, we'll put a mana right here. Then everything else has to be diagonal, and then it has to be at least 2 squares away. So, and it's got to be the opposing type. So say we could put this diagonal and it's the opposing type, so that's legal. Then we've got to put that right there. I believe that's legal. No, I believe this right here, this is legal, 2 squares away. And then right here, at least 2 squares away. Something like that. Don't hold me to that, it's all in the rule book. Yeah, the anatomy of a card. Okay, so we've already went over the gold costs and the victory points awarded from defeating that guy. So from here, we've got the name of the unit, Gold Miner Captive. The Gold Miner Captive generates a gold. Believing in between rounds, it does that. And then it's rank. Rank means you activate based on rank. So the highest number activates first, and then that goes on down. So this is a very low costed unit, so it has a very low rank. The movement, units can move forward, backward, side to side, and sometimes diagonal, but not often diagonal, sometimes. Okay, now the attack, this guy actually attacks for 0. This is more like an elf in Magic or something. It's just more so out there to generate gold. And then its health, whenever it receives enough damage to reach that health threshold, then it would go to the graveyard. Normally, when you're adjacent to a unit, you can attack it. So up, down, left, right. Normally not diagonal. If you step on a gold or a mana, you would actually get that. So and we'll read one of these manas. Take this card and you claim the center mana pool. When you claim the center mana pool, mana generates +2 mana per turn, per round. Okay. And on these tiles, you're gonna have different advantages to being, like, if your faction, I'll get to that in a second in more detail, but your faction, so the Doom Sand faction, they're going to benefit from having their guys on sand. And the Primus faction, they're going to benefit from having their guys on, some on the aquatic tiles, and then I believe something, and then some on the jungle tiles. But we'll read what the factions do in a second. These chits, I'll kind of go over the chits too, the tokens. So this is a damage token, like, you know, when you have this on a unit, that would indicate that it's received that much damage. 2 damage, that's enough to kill that guy, or, like, you know, a 3 would kill that guy. Really, a 1 is enough to kill this guy, honestly. Some units can cast spells. These units right here, okay, like this guy can do this move, spell Shockwave, would cost 4 mana, and this is the mana symbol again. Would cost 4 mana, no tracked over here on the tracking card. So this guy, 4 mana, and at 2 range, which is 2 spaces away, it would deal 2 damage. When you activate the Bog Deep Witch, and you would use her to do the Shockwave move. Once you move a unit, then you'll put a move activation token on it to show that it's moved. This is an exhaustion token. You'll place this when your unit has used an ability that causes it to exhaust, such as, I believe, this Shockwave spell will cause it to use this one-time use ability for the round, for the turn. Broken Sword token, which is basically, it's +1 to attack, and then you will remove this when you take damage. So your sword was buffed up, then it got removed. Okay, then the other side of it is the Boost token, which gives you +1 to health. You got the Command token. Place on a unit when it commands a lower ranked unit to do something. Some of these abilities will let you use a command token. Aerial, you know, the flight token kind of looks like a airplane company symbol. It's flight. You can move over water. You can fly over, but can't finish movement in spaces occupied by ground units. So you place the tile on it, the chit on it, the token on it, when your unit is in flight, and then you remove it when they land. And guys with the flight, they can't be attacked or targeted by spells of units without the flight ability. Rank ties are broken by captains. Captains can command. Captains command. Okay, so rank ties. If there's a tie, if 2 guys have the same rank, like say for instance, these 2 have the same rank, if they were on opposing teams, for instance, Rank ties are broken by who has more captains, by who has more units, and by who has the resource advantage. More resources on the tracker. The gold mine generates 2 gold per round. You instantly get 2 gold for taking one of these. So back to the combat. Units complete an activation by moving. So you move, you get one of those. Or moving and attacking, or casting spell, or using an ability. And a unit cannot attack, then cast a spell, or use an ability, etc. So you can only do so much in one turn. Or you can activate and do nothing else. After all units on battlefield have activated, players can spend gold to recruit reinforcements for the end of the round. This game has an interesting flow of play, which we'll kind of read it right here. So the steps of a round are: in rank order, units activate based on rank. So like whoever got the highest rank, they get to move. Then if the opponent gets to move, then it's all based on the rank, which is very cool. And then ties are broken by what I said earlier. And then in the case of a rank tie, refer to rule book. You know who's got more captains first, who's got more units first, and then who's got the resource advantage. Then the reinforcement phase. So after everybody's move that's currently on the board, then you can actually purchase more reinforcements. Players recruit units after all units on the battleground have activated. The player with the terrain tile advantage recruits units first. I'm guessing who has more guys on terrain tiles on the game board currently. Terrain tile advantage recruits units first, but does not activate them until all players have had a chance to recruit. Once all players have recruited units, the round continues with the newly recruited units and with the highest rank activating first. Count resources, third step of a round. After all units have activated, including the reinforcement phase, players count up the resources, gold and mana. The player with the terrain tile advantage counts resources first in a 2-player game. Then we'll remove tokens. Players remove the movement tokens. And a new round begins, starting with the unit with the highest rank attribute. Yeah, so just to clarify, this exhaustion token, this is just when you're using one-time abilities, just to show that you can't use an ability that you could use one time per round. So yeah, kind of like using a spell. Like once you do a spell, you'll place the exhaustion to show that you can't use that again. You could probably move again if you wanted to, but just not do that one time per turn deal. Okay, so then the attack types. Like most other games, attacks made on units in an adjacent space, left, right, up, or down. Range are attacks made on units on non-adjacent space. Amount of spaces the attack can be made from is indicated by the range number, their bow and arrow. Units can choose to make ranged attacks on adjacent units, opposed to melee attacks. Damage dealt by ranged attacks is equal to the attack attribute. Spell, it's going to be a blue range symbol, and it's going to cost mana. Attacks made by spending mana. Spell range is indicated by the number next to the blue bow icon, or on the faction overview for the spells that target more than one space. And abilities refer to the faction overview to determine the type of attack an ability is. Some units have abilities that attempt to avoid, minimize damage, or make them immune to certain attacks. So interesting. Alright, and then we're going to check out these faction cards. So we'll start with the Prowess faction overview. And let's, for craps and giggles, let's look at this one too. So Prowess faction overview. Call upon the jungle. Use Runestone and Warhorn to summon huge monsters and rally troops without having to spend all of your gold. And establish control of a gold mine or mana pool with tough units that have high health and abilities designed to make them a challenge to eliminate. Overwhelm opponents with multiple majestic and powerful ancient monsters of the jungle. More than one will be expensive, but hard for any opponent to overcome. Red equals attack abilities, white equals defense abilities, blue equals spell abilities. Okay, red, multi-attack. This unit's melee attack will affect all adjacent spaces. Nice. Runestone. Put a unit into your base camp by paying its gold cost with mana instead of gold. Can't snipe. One use, then put that exhaustion token. Yeah, I was kind of wondering when that was going to come up, but yeah, there goes that exhaustion token symbol right here. So some guys, you'll have to put that exhaustion token on them after you snipe. Well, I mean, that guy can't snipe. Ranged attack does double damage. Nice. Can't use an ambush. Can't move before using. One use, then exhaust. And then Warhorn. Put a unit of the indicated unit type into your base camp without paying its gold recruitment cost. Amazon or Witch. One use, then exhaust. Bow token thing. Ambush, which is the defensive moves. When enemies enter a space within range, units with ambush may make an immediate range attack. One use, then bow it, exhaust it. And then amphibious, this unit can move through water spaces and melee attack while on water spaces without penalty. Home terrain is jungle. Okay, and then it goes on and on. Then let's check out this blue spell magic. 6 damage total, divided however you choose among any amount of enemies within a range of 2 spaces of the casting unit. Shockwave, 2 damage to an enemy within range of 2 spaces. Key terms and rules to be aware of. Adjacent, the space within 1 legal movement of the unit. Aerial, units have an automatic evade 3 against range attacks. And evade, after a range attack or spell is declared on this unit, your opponent must roll a 6-sided die. If the roll is equal to or less than that of the evade number, the attacker spell has no effect. Nice. And then Prowess, a unit's attack attribute, the melee added to their health attribute. Prowess uses the unit's current health and attack, not its health or attack when recruiting. Spells can't target aerial units unless noted otherwise in spell definitions. Okay, and then let's check out the small card version of Primus Faction. Okay, Elite Primus, Serving Bite. This unit's melee attack also causes -2 melee in addition to damage. Use the broken sword. Yeah, so looks like this is a debuff, so it makes your attack less. Could have been reading that wrong earlier. Stealth, enemy units can't move before making melee attacks on this unit. And then Spike Skin, damage from enemy melee attacks is reduced by 1, can't be reduced below 1. Okay, this card has the definitions for the spells and abilities of the elite units that you play with. A few reminders before entering the fray with these units. It's recommended to play with 30 points for a 2-player game instead of 25 when using these units. Alright, so maybe the actual Primus faction keeps this card as well. This Doom Sand faction too, but won't really need to do that today. That's pretty much it. And of course, you can always hit up Factions BattleGrounds YouTube channel. They have a great, quick 5-minute how to play. Then they've got a more detailed one and a great game by some great guys. I would definitely check them out. Yep, and then they also have an expansion coming out. Check that out. Be on the lookout for that. And then soon I'll be doing a flipping through all the cards to compare and contrast the units and such. And that's all I got for today. Factions BattleGrounds. Check it out. Peace.
Game changer, motivator, record breaker. Put that work in, level up, escalators. Focus on your mission, see no competition. Unlock potential, tell these haters, see your vision. It's hard work, determination, train go, every situation. First in, last out, leave it on the field, destroying it down. When I turn it on, I leave it on. When it's winning time, I'm in the zone. My legacy is great, it's built off loyalty and patience. Now I'm on.